suelta, 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 suelta.
Espero que no se nos escape y que le bajemos despacito.
Of course, Nuria. That's what you're hoping for. And also Elmo, captain of the blue team, who crouches to avoid the infrared rays. And there goes the green team, led by Diego. Will they be able to trick the security system?
Vete haciendo tobillo las piernas.
Ya queríamos superar la prueba, pero al final no he tratado el malvado Tron porque al final no le toca.
Miss Marvel, Inferno, and Patriot are running towards Excel's headquarters, arguing the whole time.
You guys better not mess this one up. We need to stop Excel before he tries anything on Lobster, okay?
I'm not the one who's messing this one up. You are.
You two, will you just stop? Both of you will mess this one up for me, and we'll never stop Exile, okay?
My favorite is Miss Marvel because she's so independent and she likes helping her friends and making sure that they're okay.
So that last piece, okay. We had real twin girls, diverse set of girls who like to write, and they created stories, and then we use actors from Marvel shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Disney Channel stars to act them out for them, to encourage young girls to engage with their characters and explore their love of writing. But you can see we leverage celebrities a lot that are recognizable to kids, so that's one way that we cheat.
That's cool, and that game show looked really stressful.
Yes, that was a Black Widow show.
Yeah, incredibly.
The most stressful one.
Yeah, totally. So I'm Kristen Sims. I'm from Sinking Ship Entertainment. We are a production company out of Toronto. We specialize in hybrid live-action CGI content for kids and family, and we have done that since 2002. The company started with 3 guys right out of school, and we've since grown to a company of 175 people with our own animation department, and we do everything in-house so we can keep that control that we like so much. So we usually start, when we want to make a show, we talk about what we want to say with that show. So I want to give you a taste of one of our newest shows that's coming out, hopefully late 2019. And it's a show about extinction and biodiversity, and also about real kids and their real hurts. So I just want to give you a sneak peek of Endlings.
We never quite leave behind all this stuff that happens to us when we're younger. The trick is not repeating it, not letting it own you.
Well, if you want difficult, wait until you meet these kids.
There's some things that have happened to me that I don't really like to talk about.
What's your name? Don't talk much.
She needs me. You can't just come in here and take my kid away. Get out!
Julia!
You know who really needs to go? You. Everything was fine until you got here.
What is it?
There's no obvious levers or buttons, which means the ship was operating in an entirely different way.
How will we find it?
Where do you go?
There.
But we can...
Maybe not today, but there's always tomorrow.
You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start from where you are and change the ending.
Where are you going? I'm changing the ending.
The second floor of a house right near downtown. I don't even have a roommate, it's all mine.
You could have a roommate.
Yeah.
I don't need my own room. I've gotten used to sharing.
Tabitha, I'm not sure
You
that...
said I could move in with you once you had your own place.
I don't remember saying that. You probably hoped I said
No, you did.
that. Well, I shouldn't have. Listen, sweetheart, I gotta focus on myself right now.
But you're my mom.
And I love you so much. I just need you to wait until I get settled down a bit more. Okay, can you do that for me, sweetheart, yeah? No crying, don't cry. We're happy, right? And we're celebrating being together. Let's get some dessert, okay? Waiter!
It's such an amazing range of content up here. I think I could spend the rest of the day talking to you guys. So we'll start and really focus. I would love to know what strategies you're employing in your choices of live action as buyers, as producers, Where does it start for you, and what makes it different today than it was maybe 5 years ago? Libby?
Oh, sure. So I guess for us, we're struggling like everyone is with the fragmented market and audiences, on linear and digital, and how we service both of those platforms. So what we're finding at the ABC is that we still have a dedicated linear audience. We also have a new growing streaming audience. We have a platform called iView. So really when we're looking at projects, we're often trying to work out, should we launch this show on linear, should we launch it on iView? We're finding that sometimes the shows on iView do better only on streaming versus on linear. There's some do both well on both, so it's kind of a complicated picture at the moment. But for us, really, it's always the first question is, what is the core idea of the show, and who is the audience, and does this fit within our programming strategy? So we're still always after the best idea that we can find. What we offer Australian children is the best of Australian content, and we line that up very carefully with the best of the rest of the world. And we schedule that over 4 holiday periods, because in Australia we have 4 holidays across a whole year. So what we try and do is, I guess, focus our audience in those times around what we call a Best Fest. So we put our best new live action drama or our best new Australian animation alongside a big international franchise that we know the audience really want to connect with, and then some other Australian content, and we launch that every school holidays. And that's working really, really well for us. Obviously during term time we still offer some great content to kids outside of that time, but we appreciate that kids have very busy lives. They've got lots of stuff on their schedule. But yeah, really for us it's working with the best Australian creators. So our market's quite interesting in that it's very small, so it's quite difficult just to be a kids producer solely. So a lot of our creators are also people working in the grown-up space. So we're very fortunate that we have a very high-skilled group of producers who can kind of, I guess, bring some of that magic from a grown-up show into then a children's show and bring a slightly different perspective. So I think we're just, really fortunate that we have some really great content, some really great producers, and then obviously to finance shows, we have to work with the rest of the world. So we're also looking for projects that are really creatively ambitious and do something different and definitely have something to say to children. I think kids are very, very savvy these days. They, have a lot of thoughts. They're much smarter than any of us were when we were kids. They're reading a lot more literature. They're watching a lot more film and television. So we really feel that we're sort of having to up the ante to make content that really cuts through and honours their intelligence and smarts.
Yeah, that's great. And Melissa, you specifically are going after 13 to 16-year-old age category, which is elusive, and I think that's really brave of you guys. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were very aware at the BBC that very rarely saw teenagers on screen. Either, or if they were on screen, they were troublemakers, or they were sort of 20 or 25-year-olds dressed up in a school uniform, acting much younger. So we just felt that they were kind of a neglected audience, and we made the case to the Director General, and we got a slug of money to try and make some content for them. Now, making content for teens and labelling it teens, kiss of death. Labelling it anything to do with CBBC, kiss of death. So we are making this content is branded BBC, not CBBC. It's going to sit on our catch-up service, iPlayer, and then the job begins of trying to make it bring attention to it. So we genuinely wanted to make it sort of PG-13. On CBBC you can barely kiss, and on this show they have sex. You don't see them having sex, but it's the aftermath of sex. And then BBC 3 and the BBC 1, BBC 2 deal with sort of proper adult shows. So this is a very carefully crafted in-between show, brilliantly done by Zodiac Kids. They took it very, very seriously. This editorial line you had to tread. and so authenticated every single line of all 10 scripts with a panel of teens saying we would never say that, the music isn't right, the costumes, we would never wear that. So it's been a very, very carefully calibrated thing, and the challenge now is to get it noticed. So that's a whole nother job. Obviously, we have our channels to kind of get attention to it, so we're going to have a social campaign around it. We're going to use some of the kids have big social followings. These kids actually were in one of our kids shows, Mini in Between, and so they're the older characters that the audience hopefully will know have grown up with them. So it's the story of what happens when they leave home, go out into the world, get jobs, find girlfriends, have sex, drink. Who'd have thought I'd be able to sign off drinking and swearing? It's been very exciting for me. No, it's a real experiment, and we know these are the kind of, we felt we had to be bold because we know the sort of shows they're watching on other platforms, we know what they're watching on Netflix and our other competitors, so we've decided to be bold and go for it, and there's been a raft of sort of reality shows and subscription stuff. Okay. It's a bit of an experiment, but let's see how it goes.
Bold is the theme here, I think, for each one of you. And I think for Marvel Court, if you can talk about, I guess, branching out with such amazing brands in this live action space, and your turnaround time, and how do you keep them relevant, and how do you reach your audience through your YouTube channels?
Well, 8 years ago, we were making cartoons. We were narrowly targeted to boys 6 to 10. They'd go on Disney XD, then they'd go on Netflix, where we'd have great success. We can't be on Netflix anymore because Disney's launching its own streaming service. The audience became so fragmented in terms of platforms and viewing patterns, and we were being left behind, so we had to embrace all of it. And so not only are we producing different kinds of content and trying to reach girls, older kids, new demos, because really, from a consumer product standpoint, we'd sort of maxed out with that boy 6 to 10. And so for us to grow, we had to do all of that stuff. What we learned is that you also needed to, for us, we produce content at different lengths, even within the same show. So the Young Storytellers program, we can have a minute cut down that works great on Instagram. We can have a 5-minute piece on YouTube. We can have an intermediate length on Facebook. That's more post-production, but it's worth it to reach everywhere the kids are. And so that's been one of our approaches. And the other is really to reflect diversity in a really relevant way so that kids understand that we focus on our characters being relatable, and that the consumers of our characters, the kids who write and love and interact with the characters, and even the actors who portray them and celebrities who love them, represent the world that we live in. And that's a major priority for us. And so whether that's Sophia Wiley in a music video, who happens to be a Disney Channel, like we make very conscious decisions about how we want to represent our shows through live action actors or real kids.
And there's an animation live action component in those music videos,
yeah,
right?
A lot of it supports the animated shows, but some of these live action pieces get more views than the actual animated shows themselves. And there really is no, we get asked all the time, well, what is your magic format length? We literally have had huge success on YouTube at every length from 60 seconds to 90 minutes. There is no